I love the alternative truth community. One of my favorite authors and personalities in the field of alternative truth research is David Wilcock. Though I don't agree with a lot of what he believes, I find the contrasts in our respective spiritual journeys fascinating. Recently on his blog on Divine Cosmos, he drew attention to a page of notes from a deep trance session he performed in 1996 that have cryptic words which he claims foretold his appearance on Gaia TV, as well as what is right now unfolding behind closed doors with the deep state and mass arrests. In perusing these notes, I've found what appears to be an encoded pattern in the cryptic messages he wrote down. The resulting symbols decoded from these notes are so interesting to me that it has actually motivated me and inspired me to make this video instead of playing a game on my HTC Vive virtual reality system. Wait a minute. Where have I heard... Ah, here we are. It was nice. The prophecy is being renewed. If you need assist, come to me. You're in a virtual reality field. That was the point this year. Wait, should I continue not masturbating? What? If you take a look at David's page of notes that he wrote after his deep trance session, it says, establish your horizons, and further down, hop in for pizza. If you look at the sentence, hop in for pizza, you can establish your horizon. How? By looking at the letters themselves. Furthermore, you can look at the letters of horizon, and when you overlay them on top of one another just right, you can establish another horizon. And what is the final product? A box of pizza. So, if we hop in for pizza, we find the letters of the word horizon, and then we find that the word horizon contains a box of pizza. The following sentence after hop in for pizza says what you eat is you know. Not only is this a useless verbal pause, and not only does this K look like a very familiar radial star, but you know has been used before, you know. What do you eat? Apples and oranges. And they can be a pair, you know. What is the hidden message here? What happens if you take that apple and you slice it vertically? You get a torus shape. A torus represents motion that flows out and then curves back in towards its source in a circular motion. What happens if you take that orange and you slice it laterally? You get a wheel shape. A wheel can represent motion beginning at a center point and going out in all directions in a straight line forever. Vertical and lateral. Where have I heard that before? Just as the pizza is in the letters of horizon, and horizon was in the letters of the sentence with the pizza, looking at the letters in apple and orange give us another corresponding pattern. The A in apple is a simple expression as an angle of the radial wheel of the orange. Now, considering the angle has two necessary components, two lines intersecting each other, the O, if broken down into two components, creates two semicircular arcs. And these four components together, the line, the angle, the arc, and the circle, can be used to draw every uppercase letter of the alphabet. And when we place the letters on the pizza wheel, we discover that not all the letters can be drawn using the stroke paths of the pizza in the box. The A does not have a path for its crossbar, so I'll make a note of that. The B technically can be drawn on the pizza, but it would use a total of 5 components, whereas it can be drawn with a minimum of 3 components, a line and 2 semicircular arcs. So I'll note that as well. The R is never drawn with a diagonal line intersecting the arc, so it too does not actually have a path for its arc on the pizza either, but it does share a path with the B. The S also could be drawn like this, but again, it is using a line to connect the 2 arcs, when a properly drawn S has no lines, only curves, and it just so happens that it too shares an arc path with the B. Another thing that I want to note is that the G has a line and an arc that is unique to it. Though it can be drawn on the pizza, it does not share with any other letters the degree of its arc or the length of its line segment, so I'll make a note of that. So, the letters A, B, G, R, and S have properties that make them distinct from the other pizza letters. To help me remember these letters, I think of the word ambergris. Ding, 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 ding. If we examine how often each of these components appears in each letter, we will find that the letters Q and R are the only two letters that contain more than two of these components of the possible four. And of these two letters, the Q fits the pizza wheel, whereas the R does not. If we look at the pizza box as having quadrants and put the letters B, R, and S on it, we can see that the three letters overlapped do not have a stroke path that crosses into the third quadrant of the pizza box graph. 3 letters. 3 of 4 quadrants have a stroke path for these letters. The Q and R each have 3 components, with and without the pizza box. The number 3 seems to be key. As for the remaining ambergris letters A and G, consider the symbolic interpretation that the stroke of the letter G has. You can interpret then that G is a symbolic representation of the forward movement of an orbiting body, such as how planets move around a galaxy. This embodies both linear motion as well as circular motion. The Q, on the other hand, if done with a single stroke starting at the center, does have a straight line and a circular motion, but in order to complete that line, it has to touch itself. What? It's not like it's wrong or anything. To accent this interpretation, we can put that A back on the pizza and it will represent perspective lines. Except for that crossbar, man, I hate that thing. Next, let's return to the word horizon. See how when we create the pizza box with the letters, we only need one of those O's? Can we actually express that second O? What will happen if we establish that second O on the horizon like this? To assist us in visualizing it, I've come to a virtual reality field! See what happens when I place the other O perpendicular to the first one? It's a simple representation of a 3D volume, a sphere. Now that we're in here, let's take the hint from the two O's and make every uppercase letter into a 3-dimensional form by extruding them around the vertical axis. Of all the letters, the Q and R are the only ones that generate both a cone and a sphere. Apples and oranges, though different, are both fruit. Cones and spheres, though different, both have something in common. When viewing the cone from this angle, it has 3 flat sides. When viewing from this angle, it's round like the sphere. And do you know what the A has in virtual space that the other cone-producing letters do not? It has a crossbar that defines a fully enclosed shape. And finally, in alphabetical order, what do we see different about the Q and the R? The sphere separates from the cone and rests on its point. That was the point of this year, 2019, because what number is the letter R? Oh wait, letter R is the 18th letter. Dang it. I'm too late.